Hi everyone, hope you're all well. In this video we are going to go over the top 5 web development frameworks used by web developers. We'll go over what they are, some of their features, and we'll talk about how to pick the best web development framework for you. So without further ado, let's get started. So web development frameworks are essentially software frameworks that provide a set of tools and libraries for building web applications. They can help developers to streamline the development process and create more secure, scalable, and maintainable web applications. Web development frameworks can be divided into two main categories. You've got front-end frameworks, and they're used to build the user interface of a web application. They provide features like routing, templating, and data binding. Some popular front-end frameworks include React, Vue, and Angular. And then we have back-end frameworks, and they're used to build the server-side logic of a web application, and they provide features like database access, authentication, and session management. Popular back-end frameworks include Django, Laravel, and ASP.NET Core. Some web development frameworks can also be classified by the programming languages they are built on. Things like Python are built on Django and Flask. PHP, they're built on Laravel and Symfony. JavaScript, built on React, Vue, and Angular. Ruby on Rails is built on Ruby. Spring Boot is built on JavaScript, and ASP.NET Core is built on C#. So there are many benefits to using web development frameworks, the main one being increased productivity. Web development frameworks can help developers be more productive by providing them with a set of pre-built tools and libraries. This allows developers to focus on the specific needs of the web application rather than having to reinvent the wheel from scratch. Web development frameworks can help improve the security of a web application because it has features like input validation, cross-site scripting protection, and SQL injection protection. It can also help increase the scalability of web applications by providing features like load balancing, caching, and database replication. And web development frameworks can help improve the maintainability of web applications by providing features like code organization, documentation, and testing. Overall, web development frameworks can be a valuable tool for developers who want to build secure, safe, scalable, and maintainable web applications. So let's go over some of the top frameworks of 2023. First up we have is React, and React is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces. It's known for its speed, flexibility, and component-based architecture. So React components are built using components. Applications are built using components, and the components are self-contained, and they contain reusable UI elements. This makes React applications more modular, reusable, and maintainable. React also uses a virtual DOM to track changes to the user interface, and this allows React to efficiently update the user interface without having to render the entire DOM. They also have one-way binding, which means that the changes to the state of a component are automatically reflected in the user interface. This makes React applications more predictable and easier to reason about. And they have declarative language programming, so this means that developers can describe what they want the user interface to look like rather than how to achieve it. This makes React code more readable and maintainable as well. It's good for single-page applications, real-time applications, progressive web applications, and enterprise web applications as well. React is one of the more popular web development frameworks. It's used by companies like Airbnb, Facebook, and Netflix to build their web apps, and has a large and active community of developers. This means that there's a wealth of knowledge and resources available for React developers, including tutorials, documentations, and plugin. Overall, React is a really powerful and versatile framework for building web applications. It's fast, flexible, scalable, secure, and reliable. It's also backed by a large and active community of developers. If you're looking for a framework to build your next web application, React is a great option to consider. Next up we have Vue, and Vue is another progressive JavaScript framework used for building user interfaces, so it's more of a front-end framework. It's known for simplicity, flexibility, and performance. They are also built with components, and they use a reactivity system to track changes to the state of the component as well. They also use a simple and intuitive template syntax to render your HTML, and this makes code really easy to use and write, and very lightweight as well. So it's a minified library size of just 23 KB. This makes Vue a good choice for building high-performance web applications. And again, it's good for single-page applications, real-time applications, progressive web apps, and enterprise web applications. It's used by companies like Alibaba, GitLab, and Laravel to build their web applications, so it's definitely one of the more popular ones. And just like React, it has a large community of users, so there's a wealth of knowledge and resources out there for developers, including tutorials, documentation, and plugins. Overall, Vue is powerful and versatile for building web applications. It's very simple and definitely one that's come highly recommended. Next up, another front-end full-stack framework, and this is Angular. And Angular provides a complete set of tools for building web applications, and it's known for really robust features and also a powerful development environment. Angular applications are built using components, and this makes Angular applications more modular and reusable. They also have template syntax to render your HTML, and they also use dependency injection to manage dependencies between your components, and this makes Angular applications more loosely coupled and easier to test. Angular also uses TypeScript, which is a superset of JavaScript to write code, and TypeScript provides type safety, which can help to prevent errors and improve your code quality as well. Angular can be used for SPAs because it's fast, flexible, and component-based. It can also be used to build real-time applications because it's really fast and efficient. And also it's a popular choice for large-scale web applications because it's performant and can handle a large number of users and requests. It's not as popular as React or Vue, however, it's still being used by large companies like Google, Microsoft, and PayPal. Overall, it's a really powerful and versatile framework for building web applications. It's really scalable, secure, reliable, and performant. It's also backed by a large and active community of developers. So if you're looking for a framework to build your next enterprise web application, then Angular is a good option to consider. So next up we have Django, and this is looking at some of the more back-end popular frameworks, but Django is a Python web framework and it's known for its speed, security, and scalability. Really popular choice for building web applications of all sizes, from personal projects to large environments. Django uses something called an MTV architecture, which separates the application's data model, presentation layer, and business logic. This makes Django applications more modular, reusable, and maintainable. It also uses ORM to manage database interactions, and this makes Django applications easier to write and maintain. Django also comes with a number of built-in security features such as cross-site scripting, protection, and SQL injection prevention. This makes Django applications more secure, and Django is designed to be scalable so it can handle large amounts of traffic and data. Django is a good choice for building a wide variety of web applications, including e-commerce websites, social networks, CMSs, because it's flexible and extensive, APIs, and any type of web applications as well. It's really popular and it's used by companies like Pinterest and Instagram. Django has a large and active community of developers. That means that there is a wealth of resources available for Django developers. Overall, it's a really powerful and versatile web framework. Laravel is another back-end web framework, and it's built on PHP, and it's known for its elegance and simplicity. Really popular choice for building web applications of all sizes. Laravel has a simple and elegant syntax that makes it really easy to read and write code, and Laravel also follows a convention over configuration principle, which means that developers don't need to explicitly configure many things. This makes Laravel applications easier to develop and maintain. Laravel comes with a number of inbuilt tools such as command line interface and a web-based IDE. This makes it easy to develop and deploy Laravel applications. It's a good choice for building a variety of web applications, including blogs, because they're easy to set up and maintain. It can be used to build CMSs because it's flexible and extensible. It can be used to build e-commerce websites because it's scalable and secure. And Laravel can be used to build APIs because it's easy to create and manage RESTful APIs. Laravel is a general purpose web framework, so it can be used to create any type of web application. So now let's talk about some factors to consider when you're choosing a web development framework. You want to consider your programming language. You want to choose a framework that is built on the language that you're comfortable and proficient in. And you want to consider your actual project requirements. Consider the features and functionality that you need for your web application. Some frameworks are better suited for certain types of web applications than others. And choose a framework that your team is familiar with and has experience using. And lastly, choose a framework with a large and active community of developers. This will ensure that you have access to support and resources if you ever need them. If you're not sure which framework to choose, it's a good idea to do some research and compare different options. You can also read reviews from other developers and ask for recommendations as well. So now let's talk about test-driven development and some testing frameworks as well. So what is actually meant by TDD, or test-driven development? Test-driven development is essentially a software development process that revolves around writing, failing automated tests before writing any production code. It's a very cyclical process, and it involves writing a failing unit test. So this test should describe the desired functionality of the code to be written. Writing the minimum amount of code to pass the test. This code should be simple and straightforward as possible. Refactoring the code. This involves improving the code without changing its functionality. And then keep on repeating steps 1 to 3 until this feature is complete. It can be used in any type of software development, but it's particularly well suited for web development because web applications are typically composed of many small independent components, making them easy to test in isolation. So to get started with TDD in web development, you actually first need to choose a testing framework. A testing framework is a set of guidelines, tools, and libraries to help testers to automate the testing processes. It provides common structure for writing and executing test cases, and it can help reduce the time and effort needed to test software. There's a lot of different types of testing frameworks available, but they all share common features. Things like a way to organize and manage test cases, a way to execute test cases, a way to report on results. That can be done in a variety of ways, like generating a report or sending an email notification. Testing frameworks can be used to automate all types of software testing, including unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. They can be used to automate different types of tests, like functional tests, performance tests, and security tests. Some benefits of using a testing framework include increased efficiency and productivity. That's because testing frameworks can help tests to automate many of repetitive tasks involved in testing software. This can free up testers to focus on more complex tasks, like designing and executing test cases. Testing frameworks can also help improve the accuracy and reliability of testing because it provides a consistent structure for writing and executing test cases. And testing frameworks can help reduce the costs of testing by reducing the time and effort required to test the software. Once you've chosen a testing framework, you can start writing tests for your web application. The best way is to focus on the smallest, most independent component of your application. So for example, if you're developing a shopping cart application, you might want to start by writing tests for individual components of the shopping cart, for example, the product list, the cart itself, and the checkout process. Once you have written tests for the individual components of your application, you can start integrating them together and writing tests for the overall functionality of your application. TDD can be a challenging process to learn at first, but it's a very valuable skill for any web developer to have. With practice, you will find that TDD will help write better code and write code with fewer bugs. So there are a few popular testing frameworks for web development. We'll go over some of them today. The first one is Cypress. Cypress is a JavaScript-based end-to-end testing framework that's designed to be easy to use and debug. It's a newer testing framework, but it's become really popular due to its unique features and benefits. One of the key features of Cypress is that it runs tests in a real browser without the need for third-party drivers. This makes it really easy to write tests that mimic real user interactions. Cypress also provides a number of features that make it easy to debug tests, like the interactive test runner, snapshot testing, and error reporting as well. Cypress can be used to test all types of web applications, including single-page applications, progressive web applications, and also well integrated with popular JavaScript frameworks like React, Angular, and Vue. It's a really powerful and versatile testing framework and can be used to test all types of website applications. Really easy to use, debug, and integrates well with popular JavaScript frameworks. If you are developing web applications, I recommend using Cypress to test your code. It will help you to catch bugs early on and improve the quality of your applications. Next up is Mocka. So Mocka is a JavaScript testing framework that's really similar to Jest, but it's more flexible and extensible. It's also one of the oldest and most popular testing frameworks for JavaScript development. Mocka has a number of features that make it a really good choice for JavaScript testing, including flexibility, extensibility, support for multiple assertion libraries, and support for test coverage reporting as well. It can be used to test both synchronous and asynchronous code, and it also supports a number of features that make it really easy to write and maintain tests like test suites, test runners, and hooks. Mocka is really powerful and flexible testing framework and can be used to test all types of JavaScript applications. It's really easy to use, extensible, and provides a number of features that make it easy to write and maintain tests. They also can be used to test JavaScript applications. You can do unit testing to test individual units of code. You can also test how different units of code interact with each other. You can also test entire applications by simulating user interactions, and can be used to test APIs by sending and receiving requests and responses as well. If you are developing JavaScript applications, I recommend using Mocka to test your code. It's a really good choice for both beginners and experienced testers. Next, we have Jasmine, and Jasmine is another JavaScript testing framework, and it's known for its simple and readable syntax. It's also very lightweight. They don't have any external dependencies as well, so it's a good choice for projects of all sizes. It's really easy to use, it's readable, it's lightweight, and it's feature-rich. They have support for both synchronous and asynchronous code, support for test suites, test runners, and hooks, built-in assertion libraries, and support for test coverage reporting as well. Jasmine is a really powerful and versatile framework that can be used to test all types of JavaScript applications. It's easy to use, readable, lightweight, and feature-rich. If you are developing JavaScript applications, I highly recommend using Jasmine to test your code. It will help you write your code better and catch bugs a lot earlier on. So lastly, we have Jest, and Jest is a JavaScript framework that is designed to be simple, fast, and reliable. It's one of the most popular testing frameworks for JavaScript, and it's mainly used by large companies like Facebook, Airbnb, and Google. It's very easy to use. It's also very fast at running tests because it uses a virtual DOM to render components and tests, which is much faster than rendering components in a real browser. Jest is very reliable and rarely produces false positives or negatives, and has lots of features, making it a really powerful testing framework like snapshot testing, mocking, and code coverage reporting. Jest is really powerful, it's very fast and easy to use, and we'll take a closer look at getting started with Jest as well. So you can actually start installing Jest using the command line. You just want to make sure you have Node.js installed first. First, we are going to navigate to our desktop, and we are going to make a new folder on our desktop. And we'll call it Test Jest Framework. And now let's go inside the folder, and let's just open the code file. And just open a code editor. And you'll see the code editor open our test framework. And now what we're going to do is we are going to just open a default kind of JSON package. So what we're going to do, we're going to type in npm init --y, and you can see it's created a default JSON package. You'll see when we open the JSON package here, we've got the name, version, all of that. This is just a default JSON package. It's not anything to do with Jest just yet. This is just a default JSON package. So now let's actually install Jest with the npm command, and then install D Jest. It's going to take some time, maybe about 3 minutes. So I'm just going to create a file so that after this we install it, we can see that. So I'm just going to make a new file called sum.js, and I'm just going to create a function. And just a simple kind of function to run, so we have something to test. And Jest should be installed. Nope, just a few more. Yeah. And now if you go back to JSON, and we're just going to remove this here, this no test specified, and we're actually going to replace that with Jest. So this just means that we have to run the old test cases with Jest. Now the function that we created is also ready for the test, but there's still one more file that we need to create to actually test. So we'll go up here, create one more file, we'll call it sum.test.js. So first of all, let's just type in const sum equals, and then we'll do request require actually. So that we can get the test case. Great. And then we're going to add some text here. And we're going to call it test case. And we're going to add a new function. So in this parameter, and expect function as well. And here just put the sum, and also add the to be. And we expect the sum to be 3 because we wrote in our sum function return 1 plus 2, which is 3. So we are just going to write the to be function to be 3. So now our basic test case is ready, and we can see how we can run it. So to run it, we go back to the command line and we do npm run test. Yep, so we need to test this one test instead of tracklist. The autocorrect is not great. So now let's run this again. Npm run test, and we'll run it one more time. And you can see it's working right now to test. And you just keep testing and trialing until you get the results that you need, and then you have that running continuous as well with Jest and testing that as well. So let's look at some advantages of using TDD in web development. The main one obviously being is that it does help improve the quality of your code, because it forces developers to think really carefully about the design and implementation of their code before they actually start writing it. This leads to cleaner and more modular and more testable code as well. TDD helps to catch bugs really early in the development process, which saves time and money in the long run. It gives developers a confidence that their code is working as expected. This can lead to faster development and a more positive development experience. TDD makes it easier to refactor code without introducing new bugs, and this is because the tests act as like a safety net, ensuring that the code still works after the refactoring is complete. And it can be used for documentation for the code as well. It can help other developers to understand how the code works and how to use it. TDD also helps to improve the performance of web applications because it helps developers think carefully about their performance earlier on in the development process instead of leaving it last in the testing section. It can help reduce cross-browser compatibility issues because it forces developers to test their code in multiple browsers. And it can also help improve the accessibility of web applications because it forces developers to test their code with accessibility tools as well. Overall, it's a really valuable tool for web developers that can help improve the quality and performance and accessibility of web applications. So now let's talk a little bit more about the web development process and where TDD comes in. So what is the website development roadmap? The website development roadmap process, it involves several key steps, and essentially all of these steps make up the roadmap from conception all the way to launch. So here's a general overview. First up, we have project discovery, and this is the initial phase, and it involves understanding the client's goals, target audience, and project requirements. Discussions and brainstorming sessions help to clarify the scope, features, and overall vision for the website. Then there's the planning. So once the project objectives are clear, the development team outlines the project plan, including timelines, milestones, and resources. They decide on the technology stack, content structure, and design approach. The next phase is the design phase, and in this phase, designers create wireframes and mockups that visualize the website's layout, the interface, and user experience. Feedback and revisions refine the design until it aligns with the client's visions and the agency's capabilities. Next up, you actually have content creation, and content development starts including writing, imagery, videos, and other multimedia elements. Quality content is essential for engaging users and conveying the intended message. Next up is the development stage, and developers will then take the design and turn it into a functional website, and this involves coding, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and any kind of background programming. They will build the interactive elements, the databases, and integrate any necessary third-party tools. Next is the testing phase, so rigorous testing is crucial to ensure the website works smoothly across various devices, browsers, and screen sizes. Bugs, glitches, and usability issues are identified and resolved during this phase. Then you have a client review. The client review is for the client to actually review the development website and provides any feedback. Any necessary adjustments are made before proceeding. As the website nears completion, preparations for launch begin, and this includes configuring hosting, domain setup, SSL certification, and any other technical requirements. And then you have the actual launch, and this is when the website is made live to the public, and this involves migrating the website to its final hosting environment, ensuring all links and functionalities are working correctly. And lastly, you have post-launch testing and optimization. After launch, ongoing testing continues to catch any issues that might arise once the site is live. Additionally, performance optimization and SEO efforts are undertaken to enhance user experience and visibility in search engines. Website maintenance and updates, and this should be offered sort of by agencies afterwards, but essentially websites require regular maintenance, including security updates, content updates, and feature enhancements. This phase ensures the website remains functional and up to date over time. And next up, you have analytics and monitoring. So continuous monitoring of website traffic and user behavior provides insights into how well the website is performing and where improvements can actually be made. So the specifics of each step can vary based on the complexity of the project and the practice of the development agency. This roadmap provides a sort of general outline of the website development process from start to finish. In the next few slides, we'll go over each of these phases in more detail. So first up, we have the project discovery phase. So As mentioned before, the project discovery phase is the critical starting point in the website development process. It's during this phase the development team, along with the client, will collaboratively gather information and define the project scope, goals, and requirements. The goal of project discovery is to establish a clear understanding of what the client wants to achieve and to lay the foundation for a successful process. So here's a breakdown of what happens during the project discovery phase. We have initial meetings. So the development team meets with the client to initiate discussions about the project, and these meetings might involve key stakeholders, designers, developers, and project managers. The purpose of the initial meeting is to introduce the team, establish a rapport, and create an open line of communication. Next up, the client's goals and objectives for the website are discussed. So this could include the purpose of the website. Is it an e-commerce, informational website, portfolio, etc.? Target audience, desired user experience, and any specified outcomes the client wants to achieve. Next up, brainstorming sessions are then conducted to explore different ideas, concepts, and approaches for the website, and this might involve discussing design aesthetics, branding, visual elements, and potential features. The scope of the project is defined, which includes specific features, functionalities, and pages that the website will include. The team and client collaborate to identify what's feasible within the given timeline and budget. Next up is a requirements document, and in this section, all of the gathered information, discussions, and decisions are documented in a requirements document, and this document serves as a reference point for the rest of the development process and helps prevent misunderstandings. And lastly, client agreement. So based on the information gathered during the discovery phase, the development team and the client may formalize the agreement through a contract or project proposal. This document will outline the scope, timeline, budget, and all the other relevant terms. The project discovery phase lays the groundwork for the entire development process. It ensures the development team and the client share a common understanding of the project's goals, requirements, and constraints, which in turn helps streamline the subsequent stages of design, development, and implementation. So next up is the planning phase, and the planning phase in website development is a crucial step that follows the project discovery phase. And during this phase, the information gathered from the project discovery phase is used to create a detailed roadmap for the project, and the planning phase sets the stage for a successful execution of the website development process by defining the project scope, objectives, resources, timelines, and milestones. So here's a deeper look at what happens during the planning phase. First up is scope refinement, and the project scope, as outlined during the project discovery phase, is refined further to ensure clarity. Any ambiguities or gaps in the scope are addressed to avoid misunderstandings later in the project. Based on the project's requirements, the development team selects the appropriate technology stack, and this includes decisions about the programming languages, frameworks, CMS, and any third-party tools or plugins that will be used. The high-level design and architecture of the website is designed. This includes decisions about how different components of the website will interact, the data flow, and the overall system structure. Designers will then create wireframes and prototypes that outline the basic layout and user interface of the website. These visual representations provide a glimpse of how different elements will be arranged on the pages. A detailed project timeline is created, breaking down the development process into phases, tasks, and milestones, and this timeline will help provide a clear roadmap for the entire project and helps manage expectations as well. The team then identifies the roles and responsibility of each team member, including designer, developer, content creators, and project managers. This ensures that everyone knows their role in the project and contributes effectively. The budget for the project is refined on the scope, resources, and timeline, and the client is provided then with a detailed cost estimation that includes development, design, testing, and any other related expenses. And lastly, we have the project management tool setups. So the tools and platform. This includes task tracking systems, version control, repositories, and communication channels. The planning phase lays out a clear roadmap for the development process, setting expectations for both the development team and the client. It helps minimize scope creep, reduces the likelihood of misunderstandings, and provides a structured approach to executing the actual project. A well-executed planning phase contributes significantly to the overall success of the website development project. So let's talk about the design phase. And the design phase starts off with mockups and prototypes. So designers will create detailed mockups or interactive prototypes of key pages or templates. These mockups provide a clear representation of how the final website will look and function, helping stakeholders visualize the end project. With the increasing use of various devices and screen sizes, responsive design is crucial. Designers ensure that the website's layout and elements adapt seamlessly to different screen resolutions, from desktop monitors to mobile phones. Designers will then ensure that the website is accessible to users with disabilities by following accessibility guidelines and incorporating features like alt text for images, proper heading structures, and keyboard navigation. Designers will work closely with content creators to ensure that content is seamlessly integrated into the design. This includes placing text, images, videos, and other multimedia elements in a visually appealing manner. Design iterations based on client feedback are a natural part of the process. Designers will make necessary revisions to ensure that the final design meets the client's preferences and objectives. And then once the design has been refined and aligns with the client's expectation, the client gives final approval for the design before moving on to the development phase. The design phase brings the project's visual elements to life and shapes the user experience that visitors will have on the website. Effectively, collaboration between designers, developers, and clients is really crucial to ensure that the design captures the essence of the project's goals and engages users effectively. So the next phase is the development phase, and during this phase the website design is transformed into the functional, interactive website. Developers will write code, integrate databases, and build the necessary functionalities, and this phase involves front-end development. So they will create the user interface by coding with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. They will also ensure that the design is faithfully implemented and that the website is visually appealing and responsive. Back-end development will work on the server side of the website, and they build databases, handle data processing, and develop server logic to make sure the website's functionality works smoothly. And developers also implement interactive features, forms, search functionalities, user accounts, and any custom functionalities specific to the project in this phase here. After the development is complete, we moved on to the client review phase, and this is the phase where the client is presented with the working website for the first time for review. This phase involves client feedback again, so the client reviews the website again to ensure that it aligns with their vision and requirements. Any necessary changes or improvements are communicated to the team. And then based on client feedback, developers make necessary revisions to the website to address any concerns or requested changes. Once all of the changes have been confirmed, it moves on to the testing phase. So this is just before the website goes live. Rigorous testing is conducted to identify and resolve any bugs, errors, or usability issues. This phase includes functional testing, so ensuring that all functionalities, features, and links work as intended. Compatibility testing, so testing the website on various browsers, devices, and operating systems to ensure consistent performance. And performance testing, so assessing the website's loading speed, response times, and overall performance. Once the testing phase is complete, it's moved on to the launch phase, and this is when the website is actually ready to go live and client satisfied with everything. And this phase involves final prep, so in configuring hosting, domain settings, and ensuring all necessary files and database are ready for deployment. Moving the website from the development environment to the live server, and then launch announcement, so announcing the website's launch to the public or target audience. After the successful launch phase, then comes the post-launch testing and optimization. So after the website is live, ongoing testing and optimizations are necessary for continued success. This mainly involves bug monitoring, so continuously monitoring the website for any post-launch bugs or issues and addressing them promptly. And performance optimization, so optimizing the website speed, responsiveness, and user experience based on the real-world usage data. Next up is maintenance and updates, and this is basically ensuring that websites afterwards require regular maintenance and updates to remain functional, secure, and up to date. And this involves security updates, so applying patches and updates to prevent security vulnerabilities, content updates, so keeping the content fresh and relevant by adding new information, articles, products, and any feature enhancements, so introducing new features or improving existing ones based on user feedback and industry trends. So monitoring and analyzing the website's performance and user behavior provide valuable insights for continuous improvement, and this is This can be conducted during the analytics and monitoring phase. So things like traffic analysis, using tools like Google Analytics to track website traffic, user demographics, and popular pages. Conversion tracking, so monitoring user actions such as form submissions, purchases, or downloads to measure the website's effectiveness. And then studying how users navigate the websites and identifying areas where users might face difficulties. So collectively, all of these phases ensure a comprehensive and successful website development process, from the initial design concept to the ongoing maintenance and optimization of the live website. And that's a wrap for today's video on web development frameworks. I hope you find this video informative and inspiring. If you've enjoyed and want to stay updated on all things tech, design, and innovation, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Feel free to leave your thoughts, questions, or any topics you'd like us to cover in the comments below. And until next time, keep designing, keep developing, and keep innovating. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.